So today is about giving from an overflowing cup. So many times, those of us who are in ministry or in service to others in any number of ways give and give and give, and we don't take the time to replenish ourselves. And so at some point, we are giving from an empty cup. And when we do that, then we're pulling our energetic reserves in order to help and serve other people. And as a spiritual director, I see this all the time, not only with laity, but also with pastors. And maybe I would say, especially with pastors, because they give so much and they put in so much time and so much energy and so many hours, and they don't take the time to renew themselves. And so this is an invitation to do that. And really, the Blessing Book process is largely about learning how to cultivate your own resilience. And by inviting God into our ordinary days and into just every aspect of our life, beginning with the dawn in the morning, we undergird ourselves with divine presence so that we can meet the challenges of the day and the joys. And then all of the practices, cultivating love, cultivating gratitude and gratefulness, walking with hope, and embodying peace so that loving kindness and goodness goes out into the world. And then once again, kind of births hope again. And it is just like a circle that just is wonderful. And in doing that, we bring goodness not only for ourselves, but for others. And so today, our creative process is going to be creating an overflowing cup in your book. And when you look at this overflowing cup in times to come, whether that's a year from now or a month from now, I just want you to remember how important it is to fill your own cup so that you can go out and be of service and be a voice of goodness in the world. And yes, it is kind of like the airlines message, to put on your own oxygen mask first and then put on your babies, because your instinct is going to be put on your babies first, but you really have to be able to put yours on so that then you can help the other. And so it's very similar to that, but it's actually vital. Very, very important. So I love English tea. I lived in England for a time when I was a little girl, and English breakfast tea in the morning is one of my most lovely, lovely moments of the day. And I particularly love sipping my English breakfast tea from handmade cups that are just so beautiful and so whimsical and just brighten each and every day. And my favorite cups are created by an artist friend of mine that I met in Olympia, Washington, and her name is Toni Lawrence. And I have several of her cups, but this is one of them. And you can see it's just so delightful. And each of her cups have words inside. And so not only do you have the blessing of the cup and the images on the cup, which are wonderful, but you've also got an inspiration inside. It's a great way to start the day. So this is the cup that I am going to be creating for my overflowing cup today. So I'm going to switch cameras and we'll get started. All right. I thought that watercolor would be wonderful for this. And so I have that ready to go. And here's a look just facing down into this cup. You can see the flowers and bird are on the inside too, but I'm going to go with this kind of angle today as I paint. And so I would just invite you to choose your favorite cup, and we're going to sketch it and then we're going to paint it. So as I do this, let me see here. Kind of just going with what I see here. One of the things I love about Toni's cups. Now, when I look at this, I don't see the inside, but I want to see the inside when I'm painting, because I want to have that visual of the cup overflowing. And then I'm going to have liquid coming out. And in this case, the liquid is all of these things that we've been talking about this last 6 weeks. So that would be love and hope and gratefulness and peace and goodness. If you think these are very similar to fruits of the spirit, I have noticed that, and they are. And it's just kind of one more aspect of affirmation that this is a good way to be in the world. Kindness. And you can add more. I mean, you can add your own. I hope that over time, you'll embody many, many aspects of this. So once again, anytime I begin with watercolors, I always just add a little water to the trays that I know I'm going to use. So I know I'm using yellow, and I'm going to use this kind of blue-green for sure, and then just the regular blue. And there's a little bit of red in there. So the first thing I want to do is just to paint this cup. And you could probably, I mean, we all know the shape of a cup. So you could do this really probably without drawing it, but I just like to have the drawing there, even though I didn't do it perfectly. Okay. And then I'm going to add this beautiful blue. I think I'm going to go with this one, even though it's not quite the same. Oh, that's more green. So with this particular paper, this is not watercolor paper. This is Koh-i-Noor multi-purpose paper. If this was watercolor, that would have already gone in and I couldn't have gotten it out. But because it's not, I just dabbed it up with a paper towel. And so let's go with actual blue. And I think what I'm going to do is create a flower with some separate paper and come back in with the flower on top once it dries. And then my liquid would be tea, kind of that beautiful kind of creamy tea. So I am going to make it brown. And have it coming on out. And then just because I can, and it's creative rather than literal, I'm going to have my tea flowing into colors. And I'm going to, with intention, have the colors go into the brown. And one of the reasons I chose watercolor for this is because I wanted the letters and things to show through. Typically with any creative process, if you're wanting the letters to show through, watercolor is always a good choice. This is so pretty. Hey, Kai. My little cat is coming over. She's like, what are you doing? So I love this. I kind of want something in the background, just a little color mostly. So I'm just wetting the paper, and then I'm just going to add a little color in the background. And just with the watercolor, just allow that color just to kind of spread. You know, it's one of the real joys of watercolor for me is just allowing the water to flow. You know, it's a lot like our life, just, you know, letting it flow sometimes and not trying to control all of the outcome. In our humanness, we want to make sure everything's a certain way. But sometimes there's beauty in letting things flow. All right. So this is a very simple image, but at the same time, it's a very important one. And somewhere on there, it would be wonderful for you to take a little bit of time, and as you're pondering serving from an overflowing cup, what were some of the processes that we did the last 6 weeks that felt life-giving for you? Was it the poetry or some of the meditations, or was it the art making? Was it writing the story of you? Just kind of ponder, you know, was it that solitude in the morning where you connected to God first thing in the morning? Or was it the noticing the beauty and connecting with God in nature? There's so many ways to nurture your soul, and that's really the invitation here. And so I hope that you will enjoy this process, and that when you look at this page, you'll think of ways to help and cultivate resilience for you.